Pattern is everywhere. It's amazing to see how mathematics is seen in everywhere you go and how uniquely everything is made. It's simple yet extraordinary. If nature is optimizing itself, it is always followed by a mathematical pattern within every living and non-living things. In this video, the nature and patterns will be addressed in the breathtaking nature of the Philippines. In the province of Albay, in the Bicol region, we can see the Mayon, popularly known as Mount Mayon, is an active stratovolcano in the Philippines island of Luzon. It's a prominent sightseeing destination, known for its symmetrical cone shape, which is known as the perfect cone. Mount Mayon is characterized as a symmetry pattern because when describing symmetry, it leads to a natural pattern in which the pattern aspect is nearly repeated, either through a reflection or rotation. It is also defined as a pattern that allows an element to be divided into equivalent portions. And when you put a vertical line on the center of Mount Mayon, it is the mirror of the half part of the volcano itself. Now let's go to the North Summer capital of the Philippines, Baguio. Upon coming to Baguio, one flower stands out the most. Yes, it's the sunflower. Unlike in other parts of the Philippines, Baguio's temperature makes it the best place for the growing sunflowers. If you observe the sunflower set, you will notice two types of a spiral. As it is counted, two significant numbers will be obtained. For example, for this sunflower, there are 34 spirals in one direction and 54 spirals in the other direction. The two numbers appear to be back-to-back on Fibonacci sequence. This is not just coincidental, because the Fibonacci sequence is really coupled in nature, such as the amount of numbers of the petals of any flower and shells found in seashores.
Patterns in nature. Chocolate Hills, Bohol. Heading off to the Visayas for another world-class tourist spot in the Philippines. On the island of Bohol, a geological formation is covered in lush grass during the rainy season and turns brown during the dry season, hence explaining its name, which is Chocolate Hills. At least 1,260 hills spread over more than 50 square kilometers, rising as high as 400 feet. The Chocolate Hills formation can be explained due to a geologic process that lifted Bohol's rock. The uniformity and shapes of these hills created patterns seen from afar, and the same pattern was formed by an islet that lies in Bohol's main island coast. Through the years, the hills continually change, but their exceptional uniformity and pattern remain. Chocolate Hills are one of the best pieces of evidence that nature itself produces phenomenal patterns in the environment. Fractals in nature. Sierra Madre. Chaos is present in everything, from the drop of water to the galaxies in our universe. This has long fascinated mankind in taking inspiration from nature once again to the cultures around the world. This backbone of Luzon, which covers the northeast coast of Luzon Island, is the longest mountain range in the Philippines, serving as a natural shield against typhoons coming from the Pacific Ocean, and adjacent agricultural lands in central Luzon to the Cagayan Valley. If you observe the Sierra Madre, it has a similar pattern that repeats itself over time, and when it is observed in a larger picture, it gets more complex. The intact force of the Earth's crust, which shifts and collides over time, and new surface area to form. It is said that almost everything is constantly changing. While fractals have been described as the pattern of chaos, they can also be represented as the pattern of change in the presence of nature. Part of the reason why human minds like fractals so much is because they are easier to find patterns, as it helps sort and categorize what it sees, hear, and experience. It is amazing to travel around the Philippines seeing the breathtaking spots created by nature. The symmetry of the Mayon volcano, Fibonacci sequence in Baguio's sunflower, patterns in Bohol's Chocolate Hills, and fractals that explains Sierra Madre's similar pattern that repeats itself over time. But deep beneath the Philippines' gems is a secret logic reflected in nature. over and over again.